If you are starting or considering starting the 4-month program, Improve Your Health, and you're wondering what month 1 is all about, this short video is for you. There are only 4 things that keep us sick. And on month 1 of this program, you will give attention to the first thing, which is our body being out of balance. Do you know that if you lived in Asia and you were to go to the doctor because you were sick, the doctor would not look desperately to diagnose you with the name of an illness, but would rather immediately tell you the reason you're sick is because you're out of balance. And that's true no matter where we live. When we get sick, it is because our body is out of balance. So what does that mean? What does it mean when our body is out of balance? Well, think of a factory. A factory survives because factory workers come and each have a job to do. But if you had a factory with 100 people and one day 10 of those didn't come into work, what that would mean is that 10 being absent would create greater work among the other 90. Why? Because you still have to have the production you always have. The t-shirts have to be made the same amount. But now, instead of dividing the work between 100 people, you now only have 90. So now what happens to those 90? They start to feel the burden of having to work extra. And what will happen when they feel that burden? Some of them are going to fail and not come to work. And so those numbers start coming down and down. And so 90 were there that day, then it's 80, then it's 70, then it's 60, then it's 50. And when you look around, you only have half of the people coming into work, but the production still has to remain the same, or else the factory has to be closed. Your body is the same way. You have a certain amount of organs and they have certain jobs to take care of. When they do them, you are in balance. But when one of them fails, it creates work on the other one. And now when it was okay, it starts to feel overburdened. And eventually what'll happen to this organ? It'll also fail. So that's what's happening today with our health. We have organs that are getting exhausted. And when they get exhausted and they don't come to work, they create a burden over the other organs. Because it's not possible for just one organ to say, the problem's only here in the liver. It should not affect anybody else, any other organ in the body. That's not the case because our body is connected, intertwined. What happens in one body system affects another body system. What happens in one organ affects the other members of the body. That's just simply the way we are interconnected. That's why when you go to the doctor and he wants to send you to a specialist who is the digestive doctor specialist or the heart specialist or the liver specialist, and you have all these doctors taking care of you and they're looking at you like parts and pieces of a puzzle, unless all of these doctors come together to look at you as one whole, it's very possible that what one recommends can crash with the other. And that's why doctors are always very aware of this, and they'll ask you, what other medicines are you taking? What other things, what other doctors are you seeing? Because they need to make sure that nothing clashes. Why are they so concerned with that? Because they understand that there is a connection with all the organs in your body. So we want to always address health by looking at the body in its entirety, understanding that if my liver is exhausted, that only means that other organs are working more. So when I am not healthy, when there's pain, when there's an illness, when there's a symptom in my body that indicates I'm not healthy, what really we're saying is that the body is out of balance. There are organs working too much because others are slacking off. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is making these that are slacking off come back here to work so that these that are overworking can come down and we can achieve balance again. Why are we out of balance? What takes us to be out of balance? A lot of things. What we choose to eat, what we choose to do or not do. So what I eat or don't eat, if I eat too much of the bad things and too little of the good things, if I don't do exercise, if I do too much of the bad things, if I'm having a lot of addictions or I'm overdoing it with the alcohol or with the smoking or with all the bad habits, if I work in an environment where I'm constantly exposed to fumes that intoxicate my body, if I'm constantly facing issues in my life that take me to emotionally feel upheaval. So I'm in trauma. I go through traumas. I go through divorces. I go through losses. And who doesn't? Who doesn't go through all these things? So our body is constantly out of whack because we live in a society that the surroundings provide that. They're toxic. The food is no longer what it used to be. And the stressors of every day only seem to increase more and more. For example, we're living in an era right now, 2020, where COVID has a lot of people with this pandemic are living in fear. And so that fear aggravates the kidneys. And so now I have kidneys that maybe were healthy, but fear affects my kidneys. And so now my kidneys start to be underactive. And don't think they're the only ones affected. Remember, we're all intertwined. So when my kidneys are affected, what works more? Other organs work more. And so now I have imbalance, and the symptoms and the pains will begin. So there are things that throw us out of balance. That's life in the times we're living in. Understanding that that's a reality, and that even if I come from a healthy background, just the things I'm exposed to daily will throw me out of balance. It'll help me understand why there is such a need for the first month of this program. This first month program comes in with products that as you look them up online and look at the ingredients and see how they work, you'll understand that what they are doing is bringing the type of nutrition into your body that will help organs that are working too much come down, because it'll help organs that are working too little come up and create, again, that homeostasis that you need. You need to have balance in your life, and your body looks for that balance every day, but it's been lacking the nutrition. So what you're doing is you're finally letting your body take you back to health by giving it what it needs. Now, a lot of the things you'll be feeling will be because of emotional traumas that you've experienced. And so that's why in every month of this program, there will be aromatherapy included. And so your first month addresses that as well with a combination of essential oils. How is that going to be beneficial to you? Well, because emotions will overburden our tissues as well. So we've lived through things in life, and if we haven't processed those emotions correctly, what our body has done is it has protected us, and it protects us by hiding those emotions in our tissues. And believe it or not, emotions are toxic. If you don't think that's true, tell me how you feel when you get bad news. Tell me how you feel when you're listening to the news and you literally have to turn them off because they're so dreadful. How do you feel? Where do you feel it? Do you feel it in your gut, in the pit of your stomach? Why do you think that is? Because what you feel affects your organs. How about those kids that when they're scared, they pee themselves? Have you seen it on TV and you kind of laugh and think it's funny? But that's real. Fear affects the kidneys. And so emotions really do affect our bodies. How do you feel when you lose someone or something that you loved dearly? How do you feel? Don't you feel like you lose your breath? Because loss and grief sits in our lungs. So emotions will affect us. And once it affects those organs, and those organs get out of balance because they get exhausted and overcome by emotion, others will work more. So again, we are out of balance. So it's very important to have a program that addresses that as well. So there's a lot of neat things you're going to see in the first month of your program. It's one of my favorite parts, one of my favorite months, because it starts you off in a way that you'll get exposed to soul and the adaptogens in soul, and you'll just feel so awesome. You'll only want to share this program with others even before you get going on it. So I am excited that you're starting this program. The person that is walking you through it is more than ready to help follow up with you every 5 days. So please call to them. They've surely given you this brochure by now, and their name and number is here. And that's what it's for. It's so that you can call them if they've yet not had the opportunity to call you. But they will be following up on you every 5 days. Because the beauty of this 4-month program is that you invest the information on what you invest is back here, but you invest peanuts because you're not paying a consultation every 5 days when your mentor is reaching out to check up on you and see how you're doing. So follow up on your health the way you're doing it. Do the 4-month program completely to its entirety, and you'll find a new way to take care of your health. You'll be so empowered because you'll know from now on what to do every time you get sick, so that you can do the 4-month program over and over again as much as you want. Congratulations, and stay in touch with the person who's giving you the help so that you never feel alone, because that is the neatest thing in this 4-month program. You will have follow-up. And see you in the next month, which is month 2.